My first thought and reaction was excited but nervous. I wasn't really sure what it was. I'd heard about it, but Tim actually brought up the idea, and it was his idea to have birth photography. So the first thing we did was went to the internet and started reading about it and looking up photographers and seeing what it was about. But yeah, it was all Tim's idea.
And I also was nervous just because I don't think you get any more private, intimate moment in your life than giving birth to somebody. So the idea of, I struggled even with the idea of having my family in there, and the idea of having an extra third party in the room was intimidating at first.
Well, it came from my mother-in-law, so it was like, you want me to have someone in there taking pictures and making a video while I'm having a baby? And this is what you want? Okay.
I knew it was going to pass so fast. I knew that I knew my adrenaline was going to be going crazy. I knew I was going to be so excited about the birth, but I was afraid I would miss something, or I would miss a moment, or you know, I obviously didn't know what would happen if I didn't know. Maybe I would have a C-section and wouldn't even be conscious for it. I just didn't know. And the idea of missing any of those moments was heartbreaking to me. So I loved the idea of having a professional capture it.
I guess my reason why I wanted to move forward with it was because I'm not great with the camera. I didn't want to be fumbling around with the camera while, you know, everything was going on, and really wanted to catch the moments. I knew that it'd be something that we would want to look at later on.
Something that, yes, people might be in there with their smartphones now and snap a couple pictures, but you have someone that's there and their main purpose and goal and focus is to take pictures of not just you, but everyone else that might possibly be there.
I didn't want him to be the one with the camera because I wanted him to actually be able to experience the baby coming. I wanted him to be able to totally be there without making sure he captured these beautiful moments.
I was just really excited about it because I knew that I mean, that was going to be one of the biggest days of my life, and it was going to be documented, and we would always have those memories to look back on.
They rushed me into emergency surgery, and she was delivered within 15 minutes. Because I didn't have an epidural, I was knocked out for the surgery and didn't wake up until several hours later. So it was amazing that we had a birth photographer there and in place. In fact, when they told me they were rushing me into emergency surgery, the first thing I said was call the photographer. Going into your first delivery, you think, oh, well, I'm gonna have all this done in the room and I wanna be a part of it and I'm really excited. And then you end up missing all of it because it's out of your control. So being able to live through those pictures really meant a lot to us and even my family, to be able to go through that, because it was pretty traumatic at the time.
The images are precious not just to myself and to my husband, but also to my extended family, especially my son Philip is the first grandson, and so his Nana will still just look at the birth images and cry and talk about how magical they are. There's also actually a slideshow of the images of the birth set to music, and I have watched it probably 100 times. I watch it often because it's just so. I watched it last week. I watch it all the time because it captures kind of all the feelings I was feeling and just how incredible it was. There's this moment in there where I cry every time, where you see my husband looking at the baby. It is just this total love on his face, and like nothing I've ever seen before since. So
do it. If you have any regards of, you know, or any worry of not being able to capture the moments, or, you know, fiddling with the camera and making sure you're trying to hit the right angles and stuff, you're not going to. It's well worth paying the money to have someone there to be able to professionally catch the moments, and I think it's solidified from here on out that we will definitely have one.
From a mother's standpoint, it's very important. Not only to document those images, but that time in your life and the expression on your family's face, and this is your child, and so that those images are going to last you a lifetime. The first thing you did when you got married was you hired a photographer, and so I see that as just as equal as hiring a photographer for your birth, and so I deem it very important and something that we would definitely do again.
So I don't think there's any better use of your money or your time than preserving this special day that you'll never get back, that'll never happen again. So the things that I was worried about birth photography, the things that scared me about it, it ended up when I was in it that those were non-existent, that the value of it in these precious images that I'm gonna when he is a grown man, hopefully someday when I'm a grandmother, I'm gonna look at these beautiful pictures of the moment he was born, of our first photos of family, and I think to have a professional photographer do those rather than a family member, so that we could all be totally in the moment, is something that's priceless.